Jacob on Performance here, reviewing this 2022 Jetta S. This is the last year for the Jetta line from VW. The S, SE, and SEL will not be available in the US for the 2023 model year. So hopefully Volkswagen will have a change of heart and bring the Jetta back, because it's been a staple of the Volkswagen lineup since the Mark I back in the 70s. Me personally, I've owned every generation of Jetta with the exception of Mark I and Mark V. So it's kind of a bummer to see it go, but I'll give you my thoughts on this car. And if you're interested in the higher line of the Jetta, check out my channel for reviews, both initial thoughts and long-term review on my wife's 2021 GLI Autobahn. So this is my mom's car, and it's honestly, in my opinion, the best bang for your buck as far as a commuter car. Obviously more basic than the GLI Autobahn being fully loaded. This is as base as the Jetta comes, but for 2022 they still did some nice features. The digital dash coming standard, some driver's assistance features, which may or may not actually be available on each of these cars because of chip shortages. But going down the road, it's nice and quiet. Really not a huge difference in ride quality between the DDC and the Autobahn GLI set to comfort in this car. Haven't really put it through any cornering exercises or anything, but not really what you'd be doing with a commuter car anyway, so just doing a casual back road cruise. You might notice the mileage on the dash. Something to be said for getting 40 miles to the gallon on 87 octane in a car this size, because it's actually got a really good size rear seat as well. So just a casual 0 to 60 there, but plenty of get up and go for a base model. Nothing to complain there. A huge step up from the Corolla she's coming from, and you know, basically that's what this car would be cross-shopped with, would be a Corolla or a Civic or even a Accord or a Camry. And haven't driven all those cars lately, well, at least within the last 5 years. I've got to say, this thing leaves nothing to be desired. It's tight handling and steering feel for not being a performance model, and zero complaints. The brakes feel good. Me being used to drive-by-wire, it's basically not a whole lot different than the GLI, honestly, to drive it just normal. Obviously, when you put your foot down on the GLI, the extra 70 horsepower or so stands out, but not the mission goal on the Jetta S, so can't fault it there. It's a new 1.5 liter turbo, and it's got an air to water intercooler, so no front mount like we've got on the GTI or GLI. For those of you that follow the channel, I build a full line of performance parts for the GTI, GLI, and Golf R. If there's enough interest, I may develop a cat back or an axle back for these, just to pick up a little sound. But really, I don't think there's a whole lot to be gained exhaust wise performance on the performance side of this car, because the 1.5 doesn't have a whole lot of tuning options. So yeah, I'll do a walk around for you at the end here, but this is my first time driving the car, and my first impression, I'm really impressed. The feel of everything is still really high quality in this car. Soft to the touch. Obviously a different steering wheel than the performance models, which are leather or kind of pleather wrapped actually. This is kind of the same soft touch rubber material as the dash, but no hard plastic up here in the front seat other than the lower door cards, but that's the same for basically anything in this class. So yeah, if you're looking for something to save some gas money and need some room in the rear seat for passengers, kids, dogs, decent trunk space, you know, obviously a lot more room back there than in my GTI. Not Passat huge, but plenty of room back there. One gripe that I do have about the Jetta S model is it doesn't come with a spare tire. It's got a pump and I believe there's a jack back there. I'd have to look again. But the provisions are there to secure a spare, so that's something I'll be picking up for her just to have on hand. And I guess my other gripe would be no heated seats. In the past, base model VWs have come with heated seats. I personally had, well, both GTIs have been base models and they came with heated seats. And I also had a base model Golf TDI that had heated seats. So that's something I would have liked to see. But for the price point, this was $23,000 out the door. I don't know that really anything else at that price point would have heated seats either. Just would have liked to see them include it, since that was kind of one of the standouts of VW, that you were getting a little bit more creature comforts for the buck. But yeah, if you guys would like to see anything else on this car, comment below. If you're interested in what I'm doing on the channel, mostly focused on performance parts and some one-off builds, check out the rest of my channel. And yeah, I'll do a quick walk around and show you guys what this thing's all about. So as I mentioned before, this is the 1.5 turbo, and it's got the air to water intercooler built into the intake manifold, so no intercooler up front. This is a 1-year color for the Jetta, Rising Blue, which I fell in love with this color in 2012 when they offered it on the Mark 6 Golf R. These are available with a black or a gray interior. I guess one other thing to note, none of the 2019 newer Jettas come with vents in the rear seats, but that's something that hasn't bothered us in 25,000 miles of driving the GLI. One difference back here though is there's no folding center console with cup holders or an armrest or anything in the back seat of the S, but it does have the 60/40 split rear seat and a pass-through. Or I take that back, it does not have a pass-through, but still the 60/40 seats gives you plenty of options. The cargo blocks are nice to have, keep everything put. And like I said, I absolutely love this Rising Blue color. So if you watched to this point, I appreciate you stopping by on my channel. And voice your opinion to VW if you feel like they should still be offering the Jettas in their lineup versus just a solid hatch and SUV. Give them a shout and tell them to bring back the Jetta. It's an iconic part of their lineup. Thanks for watching.